Hello guys, Justin with Fuel and Firepower. Today we're back out here doing a full review of the Umarex Komplete 22 cal. So this is going to be a full review, kind of a pellet test as well. As you can see, I've got 3, 6, 9, 12 different pellets out here that I'm going to be checking. I've got a couple extra nitro cartridges for it. I've got about 32, I think, out of this nitro cartridge that I've got in there. So we're going to need a little more. So we'll probably actually start out with the trigger pull. We'll do that first. We're going to check the chronograph too before it gets down too low. And the thing I really want to do with the chronograph is I want to take my heaviest pellet and my lightest pellets, and I want to shoot maybe 3 each and just get an average just so you can see, min max, And I'm not saying this is the heaviest that you can get and the lightest that you can get, but it's the heaviest, lightest I have, and I have some pretty light pellets. So, should be good there. And then after that, we're going to do an accuracy test. So, we're going to record all this that we do today. We're going to take a good look at it at the end, and I'll give my final thoughts on this rifle. So, this will probably be a lengthy one, and I hope you guys stay around to the end. But if anybody's interested in this rifle, I hope that I go over it well enough that you can get a good idea of what you're getting when you purchase. I don't think you'll be disappointed, but stick around with me and we'll find out for sure. I've actually already got this mag. It is loaded up with a few rounds. If you've watched my pest control videos, you know this thing's been putting in work. So maybe I've actually only had 26 rounds through it. I think this is my third mag out of it. We're a little over halfway through what the nitro cylinder actually calls for. So we're going to do 3 of these, then we're going to go do 3 and 3, so that's 9 more. So we should still be in under max power on this regulated rifle. Alright, so we are loaded. Let's get the trigger pull gauge out here. So we like to record our findings here. So, alright, so this thing does have an absolute excellent trigger on it. It really does. So let's go ahead and check the first one. Jeez. 2 pounds, 4.1 ounce. It doesn't even feel like it's that heavy, to be honest. 2 pounds, 5.1 ounces. Alright, third and final. 2 pounds, 3.1 ounces. Alright, that was short and sweet. So now, we got to figure out our lightest and our heaviest pellets. Alright, so my actual heaviest pellet is the one I'm currently shooting out of it, the Barracuda Match at a 21.14 grain. So that's perfect there. Now my lightest pellet is probably going to be my Hypermax here, I am guessing, or these field targets. Let's see. 9.9, nope, 9.57. So actually both of my H&Ns, I've got the heaviest and the lightest, and they're both H&Ns, which is perfect. And one of them is, they're both kind of dome shaped. Let me get you in here. So that's kind of cool. So something I was thinking about, these two are shaped very much alike. They're way on the different scale. If this thing is this loud with these 21.14 grain, I bet it's going to be ear-piercing with these light ones. We've got this guy loaded up. It ain't going to take long to shoot, so I'm going to get out here, move my chronograph out here where we got a little more sun, and we're going to take these shots. Alright guys, so I threw an extra one in there. I went ahead and threw the jumbo exacts in there as well, because I figured I had 21 grain, I had a 9 grain, and these come in kind of right in the center at a 15 grain, so, or 15.89 grain. So I figured that would give you the full range of what to expect kind of out of it. Now I did go out here and shoot a couple through it, and I realized that I was running out, so I must have been actually I must have been finishing out my either 4th mag or something. It's kind of hard to keep up with. That's one complaint I did have on this, but we'll talk about that at the end. I started running out, so I put a new tube in it. So those chronograph numbers are with a fresh nitro cartridge in there, okay? So that is going to be perfect. I've got 2 bullseye set up down there, and they've got 5 targets on them each. So I'm going to shoot a 3-shot group with everything on here just to kind of see how it goes. I will have a camera set up down there and the camera up here so I can still show you what we're doing and then shoot as well. That way we can kind of talk about it a little more as we go. So I'm going to get everything set up for that when we get started. Alright guys, our first 3 shots are going to be taken with the JSB Diablo Exacts. You can see they're 15.89 grain. These are the ones I shoot out of my Marauder so well. And we're going to do 3 shots each. I think we put 2 through the same hole on that one. So that's pretty alright. That was the Jumbo Exacts. Second one, we're doing the Ruger Super H points. They're 17 grain. This thing didn't hate them at all now, did it? You saw that. Now we're going to move over to our H and N's. We're going to start out with the Field Target Trophy Greens. These are a 9.57 grain. I think we all can come to the agreement as so far this rifle is not very pellet picky now, is it? So now we're going to be shooting the Barracuda match out of it, right? So this is what I've been shooting out of. It's good, heavy. It is excellent for pest control. If you've watched my pest control videos, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. 21.14 grain. So good. So good. So we got 3 different RWS pellets. So first we're going to start out with the Super H points. They're a 14.2 grain. And they're kind of like a flat nose, but not completely flat. So here's what we're going to do. Just so we have enough targets, because I've only got 10 up there. Instead of shooting at center bullseye, I'm going to be shooting at the outer edges of the bullseye. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 across there, and then 4 across there. And then our best 2 will have a shoot off for dead center. There we go. That should be fun. That should be really fun. That one kind of walked a little. That may have been a little bit me. I'm not sure. All right then. We're going to go ahead and load up 6 in this. We're going to load up the Hypermax and the Meister Cougans. And the Meister Cougans will be shooting first, so we'll go over them right now. So I see everybody getting on board with these Meister Cougans, man. I'm telling you, they're the thing. They're the stuff. They're 14 grain. They're flat nose. Absolute beast of a pellet. Wad cutters, if you're going to be doing the competitions and whatnot, man, awesome. Yep. About what we figured there. Did excellent. All right. So now we're going to do the Hypermax. Now these guys are a 9.9 grain. So they're real light. They're alloy. They're made by RWS, which is a subsidiary of Umarex itself. So that's cool. All 3 of these pellets should do well, right? You'd think. It does not like those. So that was my 30th shot, right? So I should still be good. But we're going to go ahead. We will try to do 2 more. We're going to start out with the Gamma Red Fires. They're 15.59 grain. like those, didn't they? Daggone. I was supposed to shoot them at the other side. That's my bad. That's my bad. We're going to shoot the rockets over there. Now we're shooting the Gammo rockets. These are a 14.54 grain. So they're like a pellet with a BB in the end of them. Kind of cool. Well, those just kept walking up. Those ones, the Super H points, walked from left to right. These guys right here walked up. The first shot was dead on. Dead on. Right where I was at. Just maybe a smidge above. But then they just kept walking up. I don't understand that. Now we got 3 more here. I'm going to use the Crossman Red Flights. 16.7 grain lead free pellet. These are alloy. Alright, so never mind. We're only going to be shooting 11 pellets. Reason being is our mags are not long enough to accept these. There you go. So, those are off the table. So I'm not going to change the cartridge now. We've got enough in here. I think the gas will be good. So now we're going to be shooting the Crossman Premier domed ultra heavy in a 19 grain. I've shot these a lot. This is probably I can't tell you how many tens of these I've went through. My other rifles really like them. They're 19 grain. They're heavy. And they hit like a hammer. They hit like a hammer, man. They do good. Through one hole. Out of all those groups, there's only one of those animals I wouldn't shoot out of it. So now, Crossman hollow points at a 14.3 grain, right? Now these look like, I don't know if these are the new ones or old ones. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember what is what. All right, last ones. Crossman hollow points. Let's go. All right. Guys, there we go. Let me go grab my targets, turn off that camera. We'll come back up here and we'll talk about it a little bit. Well, guys, I think we've got a little bit of info to go over here. So we're going to get started. I'm actually going to bring you in here. First, we're going to look at the trigger pull and the velocity, and then we'll move over to accuracy. And like I said, we're going to take our best 2 and have a shoot off with them and see which one this rifle gets to shoot. We'll get you down here where you can look at it. All right, guys. So here's our first trigger pulls. So we done 3. We did 2 pounds 4.1, 2 pounds 5.1, and 2 pounds 3.1, which actually averaged out at 2 pounds 4.1 ounces average. It's a very light, very crisp trigger. Can't say enough good things about it. So our velocity, here are our lightest pellets, as you can see, very light, and they averaged at a 1023.3. So the Barracudas was the heaviest, so we did these, and we averaged at a 777.6. And so we went back and did the JSB Diablos, because they're right middle of the road weight, and we got in the 800s, average out at 870.6. So all very good there. If you're shooting the lightest you can find, you should expect around there. The heaviest right there in the middle of the road, around a 15 grain, you can average out about there. If you move down to 14, 13 grain, you'll be in the 900s. Alright guys, I'm having a hard time getting all these in the screen here, so we'll kind of come up here and then we'll go down and take a look. So our JSBs, 2 went through one hole, 1 through the other. Super H points, that's a good group. Field Trophy Target, or Field Target Trophy Green was a great group. The ones I've been shooting out of it's a strong group as well. I mean, all of those are, you mean, very close. So, like I said, Super H points walk for some reason. They walk straight from left to right. Meister Cougans, they all touching there. Hypermax. We'll just move right on past that guy. Gammo Rockets, they was walking up for some reason. Now the Gammo Red Fires, that's a solid group. That is a solid group out of them. Same thing with the domed ultra heavies. Great group. The hollow points, 2 through that lower hole, 1 through the upper one. not too bad. I'm gonna say probably the best two groups I got out of it. Well, we're gonna have to measure because I know that between the red fire, I think has the first spot, but I don't know if the domed ultra heavies or the H&N field target. Well, I'll be honest with you, I'm not shooting them out of my rifle constantly, so I think we have a shoot off with these two here. So we're gonna do this new test. So we're gonna need a fresh canister, right? So to take this one out, it's got a degasser screw right here. It says degas and tells you which way to turn it. Lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? So all you do is you turn that a little bit, you let it start hissing at you. It's still hissing. And you give it a few minutes, let it get all the air out, and then you can go ahead and unscrew this. So there's your one. And to put your new one in there, the first thing you do is retighten your gas screw, okay? Alright, so you got your gas screw tight, you got your new cartridge. And into your new cartridge, this is just like a CO2 in this aspect, where you want to take this cartridge and you want to put a little oil around it, okay? And we do that just to keep this O-ring down in here from getting any nicks or anything like that. Keep it nice and seated and lubed up, and that's the important part, right? So you just go ahead and screw this back in. Gives you a little psh, and then you know it's done. You just slide your foregrip back over, and it just releases with these two little buttons right here, or these two tabs you push, and you can take it off, put it back, just slides back on. Super easy to work. Nothing difficult about this rifle. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 10 shots each. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. So I've got one mag already loaded up with the Crosman Premier Domed Ultra Heavies. Before I loaded up this 10, I kind of wanted to show you how this one works. These mags don't quite work like the APX and Marauders. All you got to do here is you can see it's kind of serrated around there. It just turns with it, right? So you just load one, turn a little, throw the other one down in there. The first one you load will be the last one you shoot. So if you're going to mix up pellets for like anything like what I just done there, just know that the first ones you load will get shot last. But we're going to go ahead and shoot a 10 shot group with each and figure out if that 3 shot group was a fluke or if they really shoot that good. So the first group we're going to shoot is going to be with the Crossmans. I'm going to get the camera on down there and get you set up here. Like I said, we're going to do 10 shots each. Alright guys, so I've got the camera rolling down there. We're going to do 10 shots each. The center bullseye, starting out with the Crosman Premier Domed Ultra Heavies. I've already got one loaded in, so we're ready to go. There's our first group. Looked really good from here. Now we're moving on to the Gamma Red Fires. Alright guys, there we go. We'll go down there and grab those. We'll bring them back up here and we'll talk about it a little more. Alright guys, that was our 10 shot group. Let me get you down here and then we'll measure these out. Alright, so the Gamma is here and here, and the Crossman is there and there. So let's get down here and measure these out and just kind of see. That one is going to be a 7/8 group. I don't know if you can see it. I wasn't showing it very good because of my angle, and I'm sorry about that. So that one is a 7/8 group, and this one, a tad bit. You're at 1 inch and probably 1/8 there. Yeah. So 1 inch and 1/8 there. 7/8 of an inch right there. This is at 25 yards. Alright guys, there you have it. So a 7/8 inch group for the Gamma Red Fires, and you was at 1 inch and 1/8 for the Crosman Premier Domed Ultra Heavies. Still both excellent. Excellent groups, 10 shots at 25 yards. I'll take that all day. For me shooting, that's not bad. I would really like a better scope on this thing. And I've got a few other goodies coming for it as well, but I really needed to do this test first. I wanted to make sure how it was going to perform with this setup currently compared to a more custom setup. Um, so we're going to get started on that stuff next. That's going to be a different video, so we're not worried about that today. What we are worried about is how well this thing did. So a 7/8 group with 10 shots at 25 yards. Could some of these other ones maybe done a little better? Possibly. But under an inch group at 25 yards, I count that as a win. There's very few pellets here today that I would feel uncomfortable shooting at pest. Okay. I feel like any of these, other than those Hyper Maxes, any of these could take out pest, right? Puts out plenty power. This thing packs a punch. Great grouping. Velocity was right on par and very consistent. If you notice that, very consistent across the board. There was only the most deviation there was 6, and that was with the field target trophies. It was 6, and then 4 with the Barracudas, and only 2 with the JSB Diablos, which is pretty cool. Trigger pull, very light. Like I said, this is probably short of my Marauder, which is a much more expensive rifle. Short of my Marauder, this is my favorite trigger out of any of them. It is so crisp. It breaks so nice and it's light. Very easy to shoot good groups with. We've talked about the trigger, we've talked about the velocity, we've talked about the accuracy. Let's just talk overall gun, okay? The scope is the cheap scope that comes on all of them, right? It's very good for plinking and short range. I'd say up to 35 yards, I see pretty well out of it. I can go out further if need be, but just not ideal with this one. But it is possible, okay? It is a little loud. It is probably the loudest air rifle I have just shooting normal pellets out of. It's very loud. The moderator does not do much for this thing. So the ergonomics of the stock is really nice. It has a nice cheek riser, right? The grip here is a little big for my hand, but I've got pretty accustomed to it too. I know when I first unboxed it, I kind of complained about it. Now that I've shot it more, I don't even notice it. So that's saying something. The side cocking lever is very nice. It works well. Both mags that came with it work flawlessly. Absolutely zero issues with those so far. They won't shoot the red flights. Those are a little longer than what this mag will accept. I'm guessing those are probably more for brake barrels and pumpers, probably not for PCPs. All right, so I've pretty much touched base on everything, but the one thing that everybody seems to complain about. Uh, Everybody does a lot of math when it comes to this rifle, and I don't know if that's fair. This has a market, right? It's not marketed to everyday plinkers, but everyday plinkers ain't gonna spend $700-800 on a high-end air rifle anyway, and then have to buy a $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $800 compressor to air up that rifle, and then stick $2, $3, $400 scopes on top of them, right? So once you get into like my Marauder, and I got my Marauder on an absolute deal. Uh, but if I just bought my Marauder today for retail, and I bought the compressor for retail, and I bought that scope that I have on it with the rings, you know, I've got close to 4 to 5 times what I have in this rifle. This thing puts out as much velocity as it. It's very accurate and a fraction of the price. That's my main thing about this one is everybody talks about the price of it, and I understand that. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's really not. If you plan on just using these cartridges here and you plan on plinking with it every day, I mean, I don't know how you would afford it. One good thing about this one, you can leave it stored with a full cylinder in it and it won't hurt it. The seals hold up just fine. Umarex will tell you that. So for me, if I was a everyday plinker, I would not consider this rifle. Um, Casual and somebody that wants to hunt, this is great. This for hunting, this would be excellent. Put you a little bit better scope on it. You wouldn't have to do anything else to it. nothing else to it, and it would be perfect. I would try to get a little quieter. I've actually got something inside for that we'll be testing out in the next video. But hunters, casual plinkers, somebody that wants PCP power but don't want to pay PCP prices, okay? Uh, PCP, if you're new to this, pre-charged pneumatic. Pneumatic is spelled with a P, it turns out. So I just kind of wanted to get that out of the way. There's a lot of hate on this rifle. It's something new, you know. I know it's been out a year, but this natural air are still new, and they're still the only one doing it. You know, I know some out there that use the big CO2 cartridges, um, but nothing like this. Nothing that puts out this much power. Well, I feel like I've ranted about that long enough. My biggest complaint is it's not the cost of these canisters or anything like that. My biggest complaint is not knowing where I'm at. I would have paid $50 more for this rifle if it would just had a gauge in it that told me, change cartridge now. You know, just a little indicator down here somehow, instead of just watching your bullets fall off because you didn't keep track of it. Because this, like I said, you can put this in, you can shoot 10 today, you can come back out here in a month and shoot 10, you can come back out here in 2 months, shoot another 10, right? Did you keep up with them all? I did not. When I unboxed it, I sighted it in. I took and I shot it throughout the last week and a half doing pest control. I have shot some groups with it, and I shot some tiny targets with it. I'd really lost track of how many times I'd shot this thing. So when I got shooting today, it was falling off quick. So I was already at that point where I needed to change. I thought I had some left, but thinking back, yeah, I was out. So that's one thing that really bothers me. That was a lot to unload there, right? We've talked about a lot. We've done a lot. This has been my most thorough test. But I think that was needed for this rifle. I really hope you all watched. I know it's going to be a long one, and I do apologize for that. Um, but for the ones out there like me that like to see data, or data, however you want to say it, it takes time to test these rifles to their potential. And this one ain't just your normal everyday pumper. This one's got a lot going on. And like I said, there is a lot of talk online about it, love or hate. So I've took up for this rifle quite a bit, and it's because I have shot it, I have used it, and I really like it. I really like this rifle. I think that if you give it a chance, if you can afford the canisters anyway, I don't know what would be holding you back. You can take it out. One pack of those two CO2s will give you 90 shots. 90 shots is plenty out plinking. It usually doesn't take 100 before I'm just kind of done shooting. Just letting y'all know, I would buy this rifle over and over again. I really like it. It's one of my favorites. Just an all around good rifle. And that's just my personal opinion. You make up yours with what you've seen. Alright, guys. I think I have covered everything that I want to talk about. We've got to see the trigger pull, we've got to see the velocity, and we've got to see the accuracy of this thing today. And I hope that y'all have gained something out of this. And guys, I think we're going to call it for this video. I want to remind you to go check out my TikTok and Instagram. I want to thank y'all for watching, and we'll catch you next time.